So let's get into the actual structure of a cold call. All right. So a good cold call has 5 stages. Okay. We have the introduction. We say who you are. You have the opener where you ask for permission to pitch. You have the pitch itself. Once you get permission, where you state the problem, how you solve it. You qualify after they respond positively to the pitch, where you want to find out if you can actually help. And then if they qualify, you convert them. So you book the meeting. Simple as that. All right. So the introduction is pretty simple, right? You need to say who you are and where you're calling from because people need to know that, right? So keep this 1 or 2 sentences max. Just say, hey, this is Leon calling from company. You can also say on a recorded line if you're recording your calls, right? Don't ask, just as a quick side note, don't ask, can I record this call? That just adds friction. Say, hey, this is Leon calling from Eminence Consulting on a recorded line. How are you? That's a good introduction. Simple as that, right? There are so many fancy introductions that I've heard. Just there's a thing called the bar test, all right? Every sentence that you say in a script, just imagine you walk up to someone on the street in a bar, for example, a casual environment, and you say that sentence to them. If it works, if it's natural, perfect. But no. For example, if you approach a stranger and you ask them for 28 seconds, or do you want me to leave right now? Like I've heard that opener. That's complete bullshit. That just sounds weird. All right? Don't do that. Just be a normal person. Saying these fancy openers won't improve your conversion rate by 30%, right? So just be normal. Because over all those thousands of calls, and I've coached so many salespeople, every time you made it simple and you just asked, how are you? Instead of just some fancy introduction, it worked so much better, right? Even if you look at the numbers, let's say your fancy opener gets a few percentage more to listen to the rest of the pitch. If you look at your whole sales process though, the conversion rates to a client were much higher if you're just a normal person, okay? So just keep it simple. Then we have the opener itself. So they say, I'm good, how are you? Something like that. I like to use a permission-based opener because then you won't get interrupted in the pitch. So you just say, do you have a minute? Can I explain what this is about? Right? Do you have a moment? Again, don't be weird. Don't say, do you have 26 seconds or do you want to throw your phone out the window? I've heard it all. Like, don't. Do you have a minute or a moment so I can explain what this is about? When they say yes, they're way less likely to interrupt you in the pitch. So you've bought yourself time essentially, because remember, they're still a prospect, they're a stranger, they don't know you, and they want to know what this is about, which is why saying I can explain what this is about is important, because then they connect you wanting a minute with them finding out what it's about, and that's why it works. All right. Once they say yes, and by the way, if they say no, just move on, right? Don't be weird. Again, if they don't have a minute to listen to you, it's much more efficient to just hang up and call the next person and trying to objection handle and do a bunch of stuff. All right, once they say yes, you go on to the pitch. And here it's important that you say what you do in a way that a 12-year-old would understand it, all right? 3rd to 6th grade reading level is what you're trying to do. So you can just, as a template, we help type of company get outcome by doing solution, all right? Just your pitch is 1 to 2 sentences. I want you to really, because I hear a pitch that's like 5 minutes long. If you can't explain what you do in 1 to 2 sentences, then you don't have a good offer. And a product and an offer are 2 separate things, by the way. You can have a great product, but you can have a shit offer. And the offer is the thing you present to people. So it needs to be good. All right. So this sentence matters a lot. We help type of company get outcome in simple language, by the way, by some not detailed explanation of the mechanism you use to get them the result. 1 sentence, 2 sentences, focus on the pain you solve. All right. Don't just say we have this amazing feature and this amazing feature and this. No one gives a shit. All right. Just be straightforward. Tell them what you do. And then after that, you obviously ask a question because you don't want to end your pitch on a sentence. And you just simply ask either, if you don't want to go for the meeting straight away, do you want me to send you a video explaining how it works? Right. That always works well. Also for software, you can record like a 5-minute loom, just show them how it looks. Or you can go straight for the meeting and then you just ask, is this something you're looking for right now? Something like that. All right. Is this somewhat interesting to you? Because the leads that will book will say yes to that. It's simple. Okay. Then you go on to qualifying, where you just ask some questions to figure out if you can help. You can use qualification frameworks like BANT, so BANT, budget, authority, need, and timing, to check off if they're actually qualified. If you have any specific criteria, then just make sure you ask. Important with qualifying questions is that don't just ask to ask. make sure that when you get an answer to your question, it fundamentally changes the approach you take, the behavior you take. If you get an answer to a question, and no matter if the answer is yes or no, you do the same thing, then that question is useless. Okay, so you can just cut that out. Don't ask questions just to ask. And if you're just starting out, you probably don't need this. So just go for the meeting straight away. Okay? If you notice during the questions that you can't help them, then don't push for a meeting. That will waste everyone's time. And you want to make sure you can actually help them. And if you do, then you should be relentless though with booking the meeting, because it's your job as a salesperson to help people get the best solution for the problem they're facing. And so if you notice that you can genuinely help them, then you should try your absolute best to make sure they get the help they need. Okay. And the last thing is you convert them. So if they qualify, you book the meeting. The sales rep then later handles the close, or if you book for yourself, then you do that. But your job essentially in a cold call, again, is to just convert a prospect into a lead. So you open the door to them being able to be sold to.